Welcome to a journey into the world of architectural minimalism, where less truly becomes more. In this video, we explore how simplicity, when executed with precision and intention, can offer one of the most luxurious experiences in modern architecture. Minimalism isn't about scarcity, it's about elevating essentials to their highest form. Minimalist architecture traces its roots to early 20th century movements like Discreetly and Bauhaus, which emphasize clarity, order, and function. These philosophies challenged the ornate and celebrated purity in design, setting the foundation for what we now consider minimalist luxury: serene, balanced, and meaningful spaces. At its core, minimalism is not merely a style but a philosophy. It focuses on intentionality, eliminating excess and highlighting what matters most. Luxury in minimalist architecture is not about gold leaf or crystal chandeliers, but about proportion, harmony, and material excellence. Minimalist buildings celebrate utility. Every line, void, and material is chosen with purpose. This functional purity becomes the aesthetic itself, offering visual clarity and spatial calm that feels both effortless and deeply refined. It's beauty born from intelligent restraint. Empty space or negative space plays a powerful role in minimalist design. It allows the structure and elements to breathe, highlighting the beauty of what's present. Negative space in minimalism is not an absence. It is a silent, elegant presence that defines the rhythm of the space. Minimalist architects often rely on high-quality materials like concrete, stone, glass, and timber. These materials, left in their raw or refined forms, speak for themselves. The luxury lies in their authenticity and how they are assembled, celebrating craftsmanship, texture, and natural beauty. uninterrupted lines contribute to the sense of order and peace within minimalist spaces. Horizontal planes suggest openness and calm. Verticals define height and purpose. Together, these lines orchestrate a visual serenity that translates into mental clarity for those who inhabit the space. In minimalist architecture, natural light is not an afterthought. It is an essential material. Strategically placed openings and translucent elements shape how light enters and animates the space throughout the day. Light becomes sculpture, breathing life into still surfaces. Minimalist homes often frame nature like a piece of art. Large, unbroken windows and open courtyards are designed not just to let light in, but to draw the eyes out, toward mountains, forests, or gardens. These views extend the interior and foster a profound connection with the surroundings. Open floor plans and unobstructed sightlines make spaces feel larger and more cohesive. This spatial fluidity is intentional, encouraging movement, interaction, and tranquility. Each room flows into the next with ease, offering a sense of continuity that enriches everyday living. Minimalist color palettes often rely on neutrals: white, gray, beige, and black. These shades are calming and timeless. However, they are not dull. The subtle contrast between tones, the play of shadows, and the use of accent materials add richness without overwhelming the senses. Minimalist architecture creates quiet, not just acoustically, but emotionally. Without visual clutter, there's less to process and more room for thought. It allows you to pause, breathe, and feel at ease. This silence becomes a luxury in a world full of visual noise. Minimalist spaces encourage mindfulness. Without distractions, every moment becomes more intentional, from pouring tea to walking barefoot across smooth wooden floors. This presence fosters appreciation for the ordinary and transforms the mundane into the meditative. Minimalism supports sustainable luxury. Rather than trends, it embraces timelessness. Minimalist architecture often uses durable materials and designs that age gracefully. Longevity becomes a form of luxury, offering beauty that doesn't need constant renovation or reinvention. Minimalist buildings typically have a smaller environmental footprint. Passive design strategies like cross-ventilation, solar orientation, and thermal massing reduce energy use. Using fewer but better materials also aligns with ecological principles, making minimalist architecture as smart as it is elegant. Even in dense cities, minimalism can thrive. Compact apartments and townhomes can feel open and serene when designed with minimalist principles. Strategic use of built-ins, multi-purpose furniture, and layered lighting ensures both function and aesthetic are never compromised. In minimalist interiors, every furniture piece serves as a sculptural element. Whether it's a low-slung sofa, a solid oak table, or a single leather lounge chair, these pieces are selected for their form, comfort, and ability to anchor the space with style and presence. Minimalist bathrooms often feel like private spas. Clean stone surfaces, hidden fixtures, and natural light create an atmosphere of calm. Instead of decorative excess, they focus on experience, warm floors, rainfall showers, and thoughtful lighting that elevate daily rituals. A luxury minimalist kitchen is not cluttered with gadgets or ornate details. It's about flow, ergonomics, and quality materials, matte cabinetry, smooth countertops, integrated appliances. Here, cooking becomes an experience of grace and clarity. In a minimalist bedroom, tranquility reigns. Soft bedding, warm wood, and muted colors create a peaceful sanctuary. There's no excess furniture, no distractions, just the essentials perfected. The luxury here lies in rest, restoration, and intentional simplicity. minimalism affects how we feel. The calmness of clean space can reduce anxiety and increase focus. With fewer stimuli, our brains rest. We become more aware of light, texture, and silence, experiencing our environment in a deeper, more emotional way. Contrary to popular belief, minimalism doesn't mean sterile or impersonal. Personal elements are present, they're just curated thoughtfully. A single piece of art, a cherished object, or a favorite chair can speak volumes in a minimalist setting, standing out through restraint. Visionaries like Tadao Ando, John Pawson, and Alberto Campo Baeza have shown how minimalism can reach poetic heights. Their projects exemplify purity, precision, and profound emotional impact, proving that minimalism is anything but plain. Japanese architecture, particularly Zen-inspired design, has deeply influenced modern minimalism. Concepts like ma, the space between, and wabi-sabi, beauty and imperfection, have informed Western architects and brought spiritual depth to minimalist luxury. Minimalist homes often integrate smart technology discreetly. From hidden sound systems to touchless lighting, tech enhances comfort without disrupting the clean aesthetic. This seamless integration adds modern luxury to a timeless space. The outdoor environment of minimalist homes is just as intentional. Gravel paths, sculpted trees, water features, and raw stone echo the simplicity of the architecture. Landscaping becomes a continuation of the design, a place of peace and visual clarity. Minimalist architecture excels at proportion and scale. Every wall height, window size, and spatial layout is calculated to feel harmonious. These refined proportions create balance and beauty, offering a subliminal sense of order that is felt more than seen. While the minimalist core remains consistent, it adapts across cultures. In Scandinavia, it merges with hygge warmth. In Japan, with Zen stillness. Even tropical versions exist, using breezy spaces and natural materials. Minimalist luxury, it turns out, is globally fluent. Minimalist architecture reflects a minimalist lifestyle, a choice to live with intention, clarity, and grace. It's not just how a home looks, but how it supports the people living within it. When architecture aligns with life's deeper values, it becomes truly luxurious. Minimalism teaches us that the ultimate form of luxury lies not in abundance, but in essence. When we strip away the unnecessary, we're left with space, light, and peace. Architectural minimalism is not the absence of design. It is design refined to its purest, most elegant form.